Hello and welcome to the first tropical update of the 2019 tropical storm season here from Dauphin Island, Alabama. I must start this show out with a big shout out to Mike Ederer, that's Mikey P. Ederer, in the Mississippi area that first brought this storm, or the potential of this storm, to my attention. So it's in great anticipation to be able to start this first tropical update of the 2019 season. So we have an investigation area, 92L, that we're going to be watching. All right, hello everyone. So we have our first investigation area of the 2019 tropical season here, at least in the Caribbean basin, or the Gulf of Mexico basin, or Atlantic basin, however you want to term that. So we have a low pressure system that is moving off of the southern portion of Georgia, pushing south into the Gulf of Mexico, and has a chance of strengthening and moving to the south a little bit more, and then shifting to the north or northwest. So we are here on Dauphin Island, Alabama, which is a barrier island just off the Alabama Gulf Coast. Really looking forward to hopefully getting some weather here. So I'll turn around this way. So this is just kind of the beginning of the tropical edges and these systems that are coming together. So what we're going to do here for the next day or so is try to just keep our eyes on the spaghetti models and the potential forecast and the movement of these low pressure systems as they converge and enter the Gulf of Mexico. So again, this is kind of the second weather video I have done today, but I just started getting spaghetti models and graphics in from a dear friend of mine and a great weather forecaster, Mike Ederer in Mississippi, who keeps these storms very much personal to him. So shout out to him for prompting us to get ready to get this one done. So this is again, it's a Tuesday, and it's around 1700 Central Standard Time, so around 5 o'clock p.m. So what I'm expecting from this point forward here is probably 5 to 7 inches of rain, if not more, in the next couple of days. But we'll know a lot more tomorrow of what this low pressure system will do. I put a few spaghetti models at the beginning of the video. Again, we are where the red circle is on those graphics. And again, if this even comes even anything close to a tropical system, in other words, winds of say 45 plus, and starts to rotate or become a cyclone just south of us here at Dauphin Island, we'll definitely be doing weather videos starting tomorrow throughout. So get ready for that. Just for a kind of a geolocator, just off in my distance as these videos, if you ever see that tree, I'm facing my east. So if I had a drone and I flew it way across that radio antenna, I would go across the Mobile Bay as the crow flies, across the Mobile Bay, into Gulf Shores, into Orange Beach, Alabama, then into Pensacola, then into Destin and Fort Walton Beach in that direction. If I pan to my right, again, if we get any tropical weather here that's worth spending a lot of time with, just in that direction, over that tree line, about maybe a half a mile at most, I am in the Gulf of Mexico, shifting back east, back to my northeast, and that direction in the distance is across the Mobile Bay into eastern Baldwin County, which is Fairhope, Foley, Robertsdale, etc. If I'm ever facing this direction or near this American flag, and that direction beyond that island's tree line, so some really nice thunder there. So that was nice. But if I'm ever faced in the direction of the flags or the tree line, that is, say, 20 miles to my north, Mobile, Alabama. Again, let's see what happens in the next couple of, well, maybe next 12 to 24 hours, and see what happens with these forecasts. If it comes anywhere close to here, we're going to get really down into the weather. So hopefully it works out, and hopefully we have some good videos to come. I have my weather forecaster here. This is Justin Jr., and he's ready to go. Justin, ready to go? Fist pump. Let me get some fist pump. Boom. So we'll see what happens with this one. In the meantime, stay tuned. And hey, hunker down. It could be, I think, in my opinion, I think at this point, if I had to forecast it, sorry, I got distracted. I've got my dog out here and my little guy. Hold on. I think if I had to forecast my own personal model, after years of watching these storms roll through this area, especially with the really, really warm temperatures, really, really warm Gulf of Mexico temperatures, based upon, I guess, Mike's predictions, Mike's thoughts, myself, I'm thinking that this storm edges slowly into the Gulf of Mexico from, let's say, okay, so just in front of me is my northeast, and that's where Georgia is, in a way. If you went on an airplane, I'm leaving on a jet plane. If you went on a jet plane a few hundred miles in that direction, this low is projected to kind of drift from my northeast, drifting south, and then to ride a ridge of a good path and a good ridge of water temperature and air pressure that's conducive to development, which would be off to my southeast. So moving from the north to the south, anticipated to curve up towards the southwest, which may push this towards the south and kind of skirt along my area around to the west where Mike is in Mississippi. However, we must remember that the eastern side of these storms do produce the most weather in terms of wind, storm surge, you name it, coastal flooding, rainfall, etc. So if that does occur, and it were to come around to our, more thunder, and it were to come around to our south, okay, kind of skirt along the Gulf Coast and go in near New Orleans, then that would bring some really heavy weather here. So that's something that we have to look out for here. If the longer it stays offshore, so if it moves from Georgia out into the Gulf of Mexico, stays in that really warm water. Again, it's been probably 95, 98 degrees daily, with heat indexes of 107, 110, 112 from some of the readings that we've picked up. But with that type of heat and that shallow water there, it can really pack a punch if it stays out there long enough. So if this storm moves to the west, then I would be really careful of those even to the west of New Orleans, Texas even, Houston, and who knows what can happen. But these storms can be hard to predict. But right now, I say that this storm will move from the Georgia area in the distance, go out into the Gulf of Mexico. I think it will get maybe due south of New Orleans, which is in the west direction, which is that direction, and then come in maybe just to the west of New Orleans. So that was kind of a 360-degree view. However, if it comes in just to the west of New Orleans, you know that the below sea level in the levee system there has never been the same after Katrina, so hopefully that's good. Even just a Category 1 landfall can be devastation in the New Orleans area. So be prepared. Keep your eyes on this one. If it slows down or stays in that shallow, warm water for long, it could be a very interesting early July storm. So keep your eyes on it. Just hang in there, like my frog says. Stay tuned for it. Let's see what happens with this one. So this is the first tropical storm update of the 2019 season. So it's really good to do it. Stick around for it. Getting a little wet out here. Again, no big deal. But hopefully we have a good a weather video forecast upcoming. Take care. See you soon. And keep your eyes, if you're on the Alabama or Florida or Mississippi Gulf Coast or Texas Gulf Coast, especially in my opinion from New Orleans to the Pensacola, Florida area, keep your eyes on this one because the temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico, as well as the temperatures in the atmosphere and the ridge that this storm can travel along, can really set up a very interesting situation. So keep your eyes on the weather. See you. Take care. Adios. So here is the investigation area. You can see it moving south out of Georgia, just around to our southwest. The black and green intersections, as well as the yellow, is where Mike and I are located. We'll see what happens.